Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Aussie Farming in the Philippines. G'day you bastards, how are ya? Well, today, thanks to John and Jenny Wiggett, this video is brought to you with the compliments of the pub mix. This is a mix of delicate nuts and biscuits and all those yummy things. When you are sitting there having a beer, when you're sitting there thinking of nothing in particular, just stroking yourself, you can take hold of these beautiful, look at these. So John and Jenny, thank you very much. And remember, we are the professional beer testers on the Aussie farm in the Philippines. So today, we're going to be talking to one of our Australian travellers. So let's get serious. Right, what's going to happen is, a lot of you people ask, what's the cost of living in the Philippines? Can you live on $1,000 a month? What's the cost of electricity? All that shit. Well, really, guys, fucking wake up to yourselves. It depends how big your house is, what your consumption is. You know, can I live on 1,000? Yes, you can. Can I live on 2,000? Yes. Can I live on 500? Yes. It depends upon you and your lifestyle. But what the people are telling you, it's got fuck all to do with the day's environment. Today, right now, what is the cost? Okay, bit of interference over there, but won't worry. So, I've got my good friend Jeffrey David Mead with me. He's just flown up from Australia, and he's going to tell you exactly as of this.
About a week. I've been here, what,
She's calling the dogs. So, he's been here now, and he's going to tell you what the conditions are like when you travel now, like his sample from Australia to the Philippines, what the cost was involved for him in everything and anything, how he interacted with people, what actually happened. It's I seen a video 5 years ago about how he got on a fucking taxi at the airport to go to Bohol. Well, that doesn't mean nothing today. So, the fuck's that? Who's that? Chick's there. I tell you, it's the old girl, is it? Oh, Jurassic Park, she went down that way, I think. Or did she go that way? I hear yelling up the back. Which way did the old girl go? No, she went out towards the gate, baby. Oh, see, you see her walking around trying to find Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, she's a dinosaur, mate. That's why we call her Jurassic Park. Oh, God, that's going to get the trolls going. Oh, I fucking love you, trolls, I tell you. Oh, big shout out to Stacey. Thank you very much for commenting on our editing, on how we used to green screen. You're just too fucking smart for me, Stacey. I tell you now, I wish I was like you, and I wish I had a truck and a rifle I can shoot the side out of my vehicle. Fuck me. Oh, look, there's Mimi. There's Mimi. Fucking dickhead. Right, let's get back to it. Right, so Judy Mead's going to tell us exactly the costing involved and the things that occurred on his travel from Australia to the Philippines. So let's get serious.
Hi, guys.
Good morning, Mr. Mead.
Thank you, mate. Okay, guys, look, I left Brisbane Airport. I got a shuttle bus from Casino to Brisbane. Each way cost me $87. You might be in Brisbane, or you might be at the Sydney Airport.
Australian dollars?
Australian dollars, yeah. To get from,
glad you told them for the Americans watching.
Yeah, because as you know, my Falcon, the key fob split the dummy and it wouldn't start because the immobiliser was jammed. Anyway, I got to Brisbane Airport. Be very careful about the advice you get from the thing there. Now,
duty free.
As you know, it was absolutely paramount that I bring Will a bottle of Bundy. So I rang up earlier that day to the 1300 number and spoke to a customer service officer on the phone who told me, no problem at all, Jeff, you can buy that and you can take it through to the Philippines. So I'd already confirmed it on the phone, but that night at the duty-free store, while I was waiting to go to the departure gate, I went into the duty-free store, I picked out the Bundy for Will, and I took it up to the counter, and they immediately ask you for your boarding pass and passport so that you can prove you're a passenger. So anyway, I gave them that, and the girl said to me, are you travelling via Manila, sir? And I said, no, I'm going Brisbane, I'm leaving here tonight, and I'm travelling to Singapore. From Singapore, I've got a 7.5-hour layover, and then I go Singapore, Davao. And she said, well, I'm sorry, sir, you can't take it. They will confiscate it because you have to go through Manila. And I thought, well, why didn't the girl on the phone tell me this afternoon? And I was a bit hesitant because this young girl was only about 20 and she looked so young and innocent. I thought, how much experience she's got. And then two of her colleagues came up to the counter and said, that's right, sir, if you don't go through Manila, you can't take duty-free liquor to the Philippines unless you transit through Manila. So of course I believed them, and I was gutted, because look, William and I, the first time we're going to meet, and I know William and his Bundy, and we're Aussies and we do the right thing, and I was absolutely gutted that I couldn't bring anything through. So I get on a plane, we go to Singapore, and like I say, ladies and gentlemen, Singapore airport, it is beautiful. I've got some photos and some video that I'll put in my own videos later. Don't want to bore Will with it. That'll come up in my own videos. But look, I went into a restaurant. Oh no, it was a coffee bar type thing with snacks, and I got a bowl about yay big, about that deep, with shoestring fries in it, like you get at McDonald's. There was basically a handful of fries, right? So that little bowl of fries and a very small coffee. It was a flat white, very small coffee. It was nice, but the coffee and the fries at Singapore airport was 19 Singapore dollars. And if you remember that an Aussie dollar only buys 88 cents worth of Singapore dollars, that was a bloody expensive bowl of chips and coffee. But anyway, so I thought, well, hang on, I'll just double check this bullshit. So I went into the duty-free stop, and it was the same brand name store, L-O-T-T-E. Whether you pronounce that Lottie or Lotta, I don't know. But it was the same name on that duty-free shop in Singapore as it was in Brisbane. So I went in there and I said to the young assistant, I said, can I take a bottle of liquor with me on the flight that I'm leaving here tonight and going to Davao? Will it be confiscated? She said, is Davao your last point of travel? You're not transiting through Davao? I said, no, that's where I'm getting off, and I'll be clearing customs there. She said, certainly, sir. No problem at all. Why do you ask? And I told her, and I said, well, the idiots in Sydney said I couldn't, and I'm going to be hugely embarrassed and upset and really ashamed not to be able to give Will his bottle of Bundy. She said, sir, I don't know why they told you that. I can tell you now that if you buy liquor off us here now, you can take it duty-free to Davao. No problem at all. So they didn't sell Bundy rum. So Will also likes tawny port. So I bought a bottle of tawny port, brought it through, no problem at all. So be careful about the bullshit that they tell you at the thing. So I arrive in Davao. It was a very quick exit from the plane. The heat immediately hit me, even though you're still inside the airport walking up the thing, the heat hit me. But leaving Singapore, this is a very big tip for new travellers coming back from Australia. I don't know if they do it any other else in the world, but from Singapore to Davao, it became a Philippine Airlines crew, and you were subject, even though it was still the Philippine Airlines plane, the Singapore Airlines plane, it came under jurisdiction of all the Philippines rules. So I had my one-piece carry-on, which was 7 kilos. And they hadn't put a baggage label on it. They only put, on my check-in. So what happened? I'm walking down to board the plane, and all these Filipinos are lined up in, the thing you walk down to the plane. Every one of them had their carry-on luggage, and when they checked in, they had those white luggage stickers on them. Everyone that had a white luggage sticker was told to line up against the wall, and the wall was a mile long. Because I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the Filipino habit of taking shitloads of stuff on as carry-on. They had check-in bags, they had huge bags, and they had 3 carry bags, they had handbags, they had so much shit it wasn't funny. Well, they were all lined up against the wall. And I walked past and I thought, oh, what the hell's going on here? Because they weren't being let on with their luggage. So I said to the guy, just as I was about 3 metres away from the door, I said, well, what's the problem? I've got what's going on with these bags? He said, no, you're fine, sir, because you have the correct size and you have the correct, otherwise they would have put a label on it. So I said, well, what's happening to them? And they said, if they don't pay, they're not getting on the flight. We're sick to death of these people abusing the 7 kilo limit. And look at it. These people, they've got bags that are so oversized, they're not going to fit in the lockers. They take up all the space for the other passengers. So like, I'm in seat 56C, right? So I want to put my bag above me. But these people bring so many bags, you've got to put your bag halfway down a plane, because these bastards think that they get away with, the excess limit. So they were told in no uncertain terms, and it was on the baggage ticket apparently, on the thing that they'd checked in, how much they had to pay. And if they weren't paying it, they weren't getting on a flight. Simple as that. So anybody who thinks that they can now travel into the Philippines with a shitload of carry-on luggage over the limit, well, you're going to get a rude surprise at the airport. It doesn't happen anymore.
Love it.
We get to Davao, getting off the plane.
Excuse me, Jeff. Can we just take a commercial break?
Yep. Going on, folks. Originally, the whole ticket, return ticket, economy, Singapore Airlines, Brisbane, Singapore, Davao, Singapore, Brisbane. It was $1,730 odd, I think. But what happened is, I knew that I had to get from Davao to Cebu. So Will and Chick took care of that. They did that for me, and of course I trust them 100%. And they just sent me and they said, Jeff, the ticket is X. So I paid that. I paid Will and Chick, and they booked it. But what happened is, as you know, there was a stuff up at the airport, and I've had to stay another day because I would have only been with Will and Chick for 12 hours. So anyway, we had to change the ticket. Now the original price of that ticket was what, 3,500, wasn't it, Will?
Yeah, about 3.5.
So when we went to change that ticket, which is non-transferable, they came back and Will nearly jumped out of his chair. They wanted 10,600 pesos. Remember that, Will? You jumped up and you nearly had a heart attack.
Said, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit, man, bullshit.
Because Will said to Chick, hang on, his original ticket was only 3,500. How the hell does it cost him 10,600 to change it? I said, stick it up your ass. I'm not doing that. There's no way. So we dudded that ticket. I get no refund on that. I've done 3,500 on that ticket. So we rebooked another ticket. And what happens, ladies and gentlemen, be aware of this. When you buy the ticket, it doesn't include baggage. No baggage. So then we paid, what was it, 4,200 just for the flight from Davao to Cebu, which is about 1 hour, 15 minutes. But you've got to pay another 1,450 for 20 kilos of luggage. So the prices, they are making a mozza. And I just got the shock of my life. So I lost the original 3,500 because I wasn't using that ticket yesterday. I'm not going back till, I don't know, a couple of days. It's going to be a couple of days before I go back. And to get a new ticket with the luggage, 4,200 or something for the ticket, and I've got to pay an extra 1,400 for 20 kilos worth of baggage. Coming into Davao, it was a breeze, ladies and gentlemen. The plane unloaded easy. We walked down the ramp. The heat hit me. There were 2 immigration booths at Customs and Immigration. 2 on that side, 2 on that side. But they moved quite quickly. It took about 30 seconds for my passport to be swiped. You have an international arrival card. On the leg from Singapore to Davao, you get the international arrival card, and it's quite comprehensive. It's a more comprehensive one than I remember in 2018. So that was all filled out. I had bought a carton of 10 packets of cigarettes in Sydney to bring to Will as a gift, because, you know, the cigarettes here are pretty rough. So I thought he might like a decent cigarette. So I declared the tobacco products, because it asks if you're bringing in tobacco products. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't make the mistake of not declaring, because they'll hit you for a ton of bricks. So it took 30 seconds for the customs officer to swipe my passport. No arrest, no alarms, no warrants, no nothing. And she actually, because when she swiped that, all my details came up. And she could see when I travelled last time, she actually asked me if my Asawa was with me so she could give me a ballot buy-in. And I said, no, she's not travelling with me this time. So make sure that if you're travelling with your Filipino wife, she's with you as you go through customs. You say, that's my Asawa, and I want a ballot buy-in visa. So instead of the normal 30 days that you get free, you get 1 year, 12 months visa, automatic, if you're travelling with your Asawa. So as my Asawa was not with me, I only got the 30-day visa, which I'm going to be extending because I'm not leaving till quite a bit further down the track. I've got so much to do. So anyway, after 59 days, you've got to have the extension. Oh, and by the way, from Australia, I don't know any other destination, you have to, within 74 hours of entering the Philippines, you have to fill out an e-ticket, an electronic e-ticket. It has to be printed out. It's got a barcode on it. And if you haven't got one of those, you land in the Philippines without one, they'll turn you around. You can't then do it. You have to do it within 72 hours of travel to or in and out of the Philippines. You haven't got it, you get to the airport, they're putting you on the next plane home. So be aware. Now that's Australia. I don't know if they do that anywhere else. So I get out of customs, after I spoke to the customs man in charge and told him what was happening, I actually went up to him and said, "Sir, I believe that there is an arrest warrant has been put in place under my name." And this is how they do it in the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen. It might sound a bit James Bondish, but I walked up to the sir and I said, "Because I'm aware that I've been informed that there is an arrest warrant sworn out by me, by a person against me, and that they have placed arrangements to have me arrested once I land on Philippine soil. I'm doing the right thing, sir. I surrender to your authority." And he said, he got up and he said, "What are you talking about, sir?" He said, "It's not possible." Anyway, I'll tell you about that in my own video. So that didn't happen. That was all bullshit. So it took me, you walk out from the customs area and you go to the baggage arrival, and the baggage was already coming out. And I picked out my baggage easily because it's a very identifiable case, but I had a plastic shrimp wrap for $20 at Brisbane Airport.
20 bucks?
20 bucks to get a plastic shrimp wrap. 20 bucks flat. But they did a good job. There's no way you're getting into it. There's no way you're getting into that bag. $20 well spent. A lot of people might whinge.
Fucking $2 at other airports, mate.
Yeah, well, it's 20 bucks. So anyway, I got that, so I saw it straight away. I was out of the airport from the time that plane touched down till by the time we deplaned, went through customs, got my bags. Ladies and gentlemen, less than 20 minutes. Less than 20 minutes. It was a breeze. So you go out the airport. Now, at this particular time, the airport was under lockdown by the Philippines Armed Forces, PNP, NBI, everybody. There were soldiers and guns and armoured personnel carriers and machine guns friggin' everywhere. Apparently, the Japanese ambassador to the Philippines was on site, and because he's a terrorist target, the Philippines did everything they possibly could to make sure that no one is even going to fart within 100 yards of them. There were guns and soldiers and cops and special forces everywhere to protect the Japanese ambassador, and that's why Will missed me. The bloody airport was locked down. So I waited there for a while, and in the end, the young people at Singapore Airlines came and helped me. They took me to a hotel. Now, the hotel was what I would call a little bit over, you know, you've got budget price, you've got really low price, which is not very many conveniences. Then you've got the budget price, and then you've got the high end. Well, I paid budget price, but I got low end. I don't know how that sounds, but the hotel, it was nice. The people were really friendly. And because I hadn't picked up Will, I only bought 2,500 pesos in Philippine money with me. The rest I had all.
Hold that fort.
Again, so I get out the airport. I miss Will, so I'm at the hotel, and it was called Davao Airport Hotel. I'll show you that in a video. I've got all the bits and pieces. Won't bore you on Will's channel with that. And it was 1,900 exactly for the night, and it was a twin room. Okay, I didn't get a suite or one with a mini bar and all that sort of shit, because they were up around about 3,000. I didn't need that. I was only going to be there the night, and Will would be picking me up in the morning. So 1,900, but I only had 2,500, and I was hungry. I wanted a meal. I wanted something to drink. So I said to them, I told them the story. The Singapore Airlines backed me up. So I said, listen, if I let you hold my passport or my driver's license and my luggage, I'll go down to the money changer in the morning and come back and pay you. They were quite happy to do it. The customer service was excellent. I'm a complete stranger. They've never seen me before, but they gave me a room with a 500 peso deposit. So that left me, out of 2,200, that left me 1,700, so I could get a meal and a cold beer to last me the night until I got to the money changer. So that was cool. But the service at that hotel, and I'll put a link to it, was absolutely fantastic. I believe, to be honest, 1,900, no, it wasn't worth that. In my opinion, I can get hotels in Cebu for as low as $8.99 a night, and I know they're classier standard. The bed, I couldn't sleep. The bed was like a rock. It was like a rock. It had one of those old box air conditioners in it. Next morning, the shower, I thought I was being pissed on by a dead cat. It was pathetic. No minibar, no free tea, coffee, nothing like that. The tap in the bathroom sink was cold water only, so it was, you know, a bit of a rough shave. The room was extremely small, non-smoking, of course. Now downstairs there was a laundromat. Now listen to this. I was so sweaty, I took off all my clothes and I went down. It was a 24-hour laundromat. So I had a pair of socks.
Were you naked?
Nah. Yeah. So anyway, I had a pair of socks, a pair of underwear, a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and they charged me 220 pesos to wash and dry it. The next morning, I went to pick it up, and I noticed something that I hadn't noticed the night before, the rate sheet on the wall. And one full load, well, a pair of socks, a pair of underpants, one pair of jeans, well, cargo pants actually, and one t-shirt isn't a full load of washing. But on the advertised price on the wall, one load of washing was 75 pesos. But they took 220 off me. See, foreigner price. Be wary, ladies and gentlemen. Foreigner price is everywhere. So if you travel with your Asawa, for God's sake, don't you do anything. Get your Asawa or your